All right, guys. Our last session began with a tense confrontation as Gilro and Mordrin stood before you. Gilro's feelings of anger and betrayal seemed unnaturally intense, his words cutting deep as he accused you of abandoning him. Tronald and Saxi tried to reason with him, but your words fell on deaf ears. Gilro took aim at Rar, preparing to deal a killing blow. But thanks to Tronald's threat of him taking his own life if anyone was harmed, Mordrin quickly intervened. A colossal red fist burst from the ground, gripping Gilro and dragging him into the earth, back into storage. With the immediate threat gone, and after being told to leave by Mordrin, you quickly devised your next steps. Tronald used the scrying crystal from Charismatic Asmo to peer into White Willow. The vision revealed Lord Jyden in chains, surrounded by a mass of people and towering pit fiends, confirming the fall of the city. Realizing the need for more information about the whole cloning process, Tronald had a light bulb moment. Consulting Charismatic Asmo regarding the whereabouts of Asmo Prime might provide the answers you need. You discussed disguises for the journey, which included Rar's trapper disguise, complete with chicken feathers from his pet, Gertrude. With your next objective clear, you decided to put some distance between yourselves and White Willow. You traveled a few miles until you found a secluded spot. As night began to fall, Tronald conjured his tiny tower, a magical multi-story structure that provided both security and comfort. Inside the tower, you each found a place to rest. The soft beds and warm interior were a welcome respite from the harsh realities outside. As you settled in, sleep came quickly, giving you a chance to recover and prepare for the journey to Waterdeep, where answers and more challenges await.
Hey, Saxi, did you ever retrieve that steel defender? Because that thing was pretty useful.
Crap. I totally forgot about that thing, man. For fuck's sake. Well, I can't go back into White Willow and get it now. It's far too late for that.
I'd be lying if I said I wasn't a little bit happy that I don't have to see that thing again.
It's funny you should say that, Saxi, because as you look down to your waist from your seated position inside Tronald's tiny tower, you see the familiar steel defender dangling from your waist belt.
Oh, okay. That's cool.
Why?
I don't know why you're so bothered by a steel man, Rar. I mean, after all the things you've seen and done, why does that thing scare you so much?
It's not just the steel man itself, Celestia. It's what happened last time. The way it moved, the sounds it made. It brings back bad memories. Memories I'd rather not relive. It's true that I've faced all sorts of horrors, but there's something about that thing that just gets under my skin. I can't explain it. It just does. It's not natural.
Well, if you're so bothered by it, man, we can just get rid of it. I mean, I get it. You've got your reasons. But, it does have the potential to be a great assistance to us. And, yeah, it pretty much saved our hide back there, but whatever.
Maybe. But we don't even know much about it. Like, why did it come back to you? It's just weird. 1 minute it's gone, and the next it's dangling from your waist. I don't think we should be messing around with magical items we don't fully understand. There could be hidden dangers, curses, or who knows what.
Oh, yeah, I understand, man. The unknown can be pretty unsettling. I'll get rid of it then if that's what it takes to keep the peace. But only if you get rid of that sword. After all, isn't that a magical item we don't fully understand either?
What? My sword isn't unknown or weird. It's not even that magical. It's just a really well-made weapon, that's all.
Really? Just a well-made weapon? Because from what I've seen, it has a few tricks up its sleeve.
Well, yeah, but that's just... it's got a bit of a spark to it. Nothing too special. It's reliable. And I've been using it for ages. It's not like it's a mysterious automaton that just shows up out of nowhere.
Come on, Rar. Who are you kidding? You can stop playing these games pretending a whole heap of power has been given to you from inner strength or magical cock necklaces. We all know it's the sword that's letting you do some insane shit. I don't know why you're not admitting it, being proud of it, boasting about it. That in itself is weird. Why wouldn't you tell us about something like that? It's not like I've kept any of my trinkets a secret.
God damn it, Saxi, why would you say that?
Why would I say what? That we know he's gotten some crazy power-ups from his sword.
Yeah, he wasn't hurting anyone. Well, aside from our enemies, but you didn't have to put him on blast about it. It was just some harmless fun.
I didn't put him on blast about it, Tronald. I'm simply saying that there's a lot of stuff we come across in this world that we don't understand. We need to be open and honest about things, because if we're not, that's when bad shit will happen. I don't actually want Rar to get rid of his sword. I think it's awesome. I just want him to feel like he can talk to us about it. In this world, as crazy as it is, it's a breath of fresh air having a group of people you can trust. It means we can share anything with each other without fear of judgment or secrecy. We face enough uncertainty and danger out there. In here, among us, We need to be a united front. We need to know we have each other's backs, and that we can rely on one another completely.
Yep. You're making hella sense, Saxi.
Yeah, you're right. I don't know why I tried to keep it hush-hush for so long.
Joe, I stand up before walking over to Rar and placing a hand on his shoulder. I think I know why, Rar. Before you found that sword, you were already incredibly strong. Hell, there's nobody here that would deny you're probably the fiercest one among us. When you found that sword, it propelled you to new heights. I think you kept it quiet because you wanted people to believe it was just some magical oddities making you stronger. But in reality, it's not. It's you as a person who is growing in strength. A sword like that wouldn't respond the way it does to just anyone. It sees your greatness, Rar, and so do we. Own that greatness. Embrace it. Don't hold back. We're not going to be envious of your power. We will only ever be proud of you, proud to fight alongside you, proud to see you become the warrior you're meant to be. You are the strongest of us all, and there's no shame in that. Just remember, your strength is our strength. We're a team, and together we're unstoppable.
I don't say anything, Joe. I just look at Tronald and smile. In my head, I'm still super conflicted about the concept of me being the most powerful. In my head, I think I'll always see my friends, see Tronald, as more so. But I don't say anything. I just smile before gearing up and getting ready to head out.
Ah, that was nice. What a nice way to start the morning. I'm feeling good about today now. It's time to start making some headway towards charismatic Asmo.
Do you think we should drop him a bell?
It certainly wouldn't hurt. We don't want to just turn up and then realize he's on holiday or something.
So do you want to do that then?
Yeah, I'll sort that now. Joe, I'm going to use the sending stone to cast sending to charismatic Asmo. Hey, Asmo, we really need to talk to you in person. Incredibly important stuff. Are you available?
A few moments of silence pass before you hear a voice, Tronald.
Oh, hey, Tronald. Yeah, I'm about just tidying up some shit. And no, not metaphorical shit, literal shit. A honey badger broke into my fucking...
Then the voice cuts off, seemingly hitting the word cap.
Well, now I'm just intrigued into what happened, but I really shouldn't use my last cast on this. Joe, how long do we have to walk before we reach Waterdeep?
You're not too sure. It's probably around double the distance away, as Alexandru's temple may be a little bit further, but this time you don't have horses, so I'd say maybe 4 days.
Oh, well, in that case, I'm guessing we will be taking plenty of rests in between. So, yeah, I'm going to send another message to him, Joe. What did the honey badger do? Also, how's the city acting? We will be around 4 days, probably.
Yeah, man, sweet. Pretty restless, to be honest. The guard presence is much higher, but yeah, the honey badger broke into my robe storage unit.
The voice once again cuts off. A few moments pass before it continues with a sending spell of his own.
And took a giant dump straight onto my high-end robes. Like, what the fuck, dude?
Impressive. All right, guys. Asmo knows we're on our way. The only thing is, he was saying that the guard presence is much higher around the city, and everyone is pretty restless.
If I had to take a guess, I'd say that's because of the word that reached them from White Willow. I mean, in terms of distance, White Willow is right on Waterdeep's doorstep, so they're probably nervous about a follow-up attack. I wonder if they did actually send any troops to help.
Who knows? To be honest, it was a long shot thinking we could hold them off for days whilst they arrived. Anyway, let's get moving. Joe, we start making headway towards Waterdeep.
All right then, guys. You begin your journey southward, sticking reasonably close to the Tail Mountains. The path takes you through a landscape of fairly dispersed trees, their canopies allowing dappled early morning sunlight to filter through and create a mesmerizing play of light and shadow on the forest floor. As you move through this serene environment, the chirping of birds accompanies you, their colorful forms flitting between branches. Occasionally, a startled deer or a hare darts away, disappearing into the underbrush. However, as you proceed, you start to notice signs of recent disruption. Large swaths of trees have been cut down, leaving behind areas that are incredibly sparse. The ground is trampled and worn, with deep grooves and footprints marking the passage of the army of zombies that chopped the trees down for their siege engines. The contrast between the natural beauty and the devastation is unsettling to say the least. Eventually, you make your way out of the tree line, keeping a fair distance from the strange cave you had the displeasure of visiting. Just outside the cave, you notice a solitary figure standing, overlooking the horizon. You figure this must be the hermit.
Oh, hell no. We stay far away from him, Joe.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Fuck that freaky guy.
I don't know. I'm tempted for us to pop back over and let Rar have his way with him. Racist son of a bitch.
Now let's just avoid him, guys. If blood being spilt can be avoided, it probably should be avoided.
I swear to God, if he so much as comes near us, I'm ending him.
Paying him no attention, you continue on your path. After about 8 hours of travel, you notice the mountain's gradual decreasing gradient has all but ended. In place of the rocky terrain, an incredibly thick forest blankets the entirety of the west. The dense foliage and towering trees create an almost impenetrable wall of greenery, a stark difference from the sparser woods you traveled through earlier.
So, what do you guys think? Should we stick to the main path or venture through the forest until we get closer to Waterdeep?
Nah, it looks pretty dense in there. We'd need to make sure we don't overshoot the city. It might be tricky to navigate.
True, but it might be handy to be in there in case Waterdeep has sent an army. The last thing we want to do is bump into them unprepared on the main path.
Yeah, it will be a bit slower, but it will definitely give us some cover. We won't be as visible from a distance, and it could provide some protection if there's any trouble ahead.
I don't mind slower if it means we're not going to run into any bullshit. Plus, I kind of like the idea of having some trees around us. Makes it feel like we're less exposed.
All right, so it seems like the forest route might be our best bet. Joe, we will head into the forest, keeping an eye out for anything suspicious as we move.
As you step into the thick forest, the atmosphere changes almost immediately. The trees grow denser with each step, their towering trunks forming an intricate maze of wood and shadow. The canopy above is so thick that at times it's hard to tell if it's even daylight. Sunlight filters through in narrow beams, casting eerie patterns on the forest floor, but the deeper you go, the more these beams become rare and fleeting. The air is filled with the sounds of rustling leaves and distant animal calls, creating an almost symphonic backdrop to your journey. As you navigate through the dense underbrush, you come across a small clearing where a family of deer pauses to look at you before darting away. Further on, you spot an ancient tree with a massive trunk, its bark twisted and gnarled, looking almost like a face frozen in a silent scream.
Whoa, that's a pretty freaky looking tree. Any idea what it is?
Well, if I had to guess, then I'd probably say that it's a tree.
Very funny. Of course it's a goddamn tree, but what purpose does it serve?
Joe, I want to investigate this tree. It seems to be too unnatural to be here out of mere coincidence.
Yeah, okay, roll it for me, Saxi.
That's a 17 total, Joe.
Saxi, as you approach the ancient tree, the eerie face etched into its bark seems to watch you with unblinking eyes. You feel a subtle chill in the air, but your curiosity drives you forward. You start by running your fingers over the rough texture of the bark, feeling the deep grooves and lines that form the face. It's almost lifelike, as if the tree itself could speak. You crouch down, examining the base of the tree. Your keen eyes spot faint carvings hidden among the roots, nearly swallowed by the passage of time. The markings are intricate and deliberate. The symbols seem to flow together, forming a protective circle around the tree. Continuing your investigation, you notice tiny, almost imperceptible runes carved into the bark near the face. They pulse with a faint residual magic, suggesting a spell of observation or warning. As you trace the runes with your fingertips, you sense they were carved with precision and intent, not as a curse, but as a guardian's mark. The ground around the tree shows signs of frequent passage, with the grass worn down and the earth slightly compacted. It's clear that this place is visited often, perhaps by those who maintain or revere the tree. You find small, scattered remnants of offerings, feathers, stones, and even tiny wooden carvings left by travelers or forest dwellers to show respect. Amidst the intricate carvings, your eyes catch a passage in Elvish. Ilia telta ar ilia lae, teovan aude min lime, entalia olorn o alcar otarna a idain.
Well, I can read Elvish, so what does it say?
We watch and we wait. Friend, if you come in peace, offer a gift of earth or flesh.
Guys, I think we're about to cross the border into Wood Elf territory.
Great. So should we avoid it? I've heard wood elves can be quite territorial.
Yeah, I've heard the same. They don't take kindly to trespassers.
Yeah, probably not worth the risk. We could find another route.
Well, they can be territorial, but my guess is this tree will decide whether we are friends or enemies. The inscription says, "We watch and we wait. Friend, if you come in peace, offer a gift of earth or flesh. If we pass this test, I doubt we will get any trouble from them."
So we just need to leave an offering? That doesn't sound too hard.
Exactly. Wood elves respect those who respect the forest. If we show that we're here with good intentions, they'll likely leave us be. We just need to make a gesture that acknowledges their guardianship and our peaceful passage.
All right, let's do this. What kind of offering should we leave?
I reach into my bag, Joe, and pull out a small pouch. I have some sacred herbs I collected a while back, way before I met you guys.
I have a small carved figurine I got from a merchant. It might not be much, but it's crafted from some kind of rare wood.
You think they'll work?
Those are perfect. Let's place our offerings at the base of the tree and see what happens.
You both gather your offerings and place them gently at the base of the tree. As the last token is placed, a gentle breeze rustles the leaves above, and the face in the tree seems to soften, almost as if acknowledging your gesture.
I think we've done it. Let's move forward and see what lies ahead. With any luck, the Wood Elves will recognize our respect and allow us safe passage through their territory.
Okay, so with your offerings placed, you carry on moving. The deeper you go, the more the forest seems to devour you. The ground is soft with layers of fallen leaves and moss, muffling your footsteps. Occasionally, you see small, luminescent fungi growing on decaying logs, casting a faint, ghostly glow in the darkening forest. You keep walking, pushing through the thick foliage until you start feeling your energy waning. The forest seems endless, and the dim light that filtered through the canopy has now all but vanished. It's hard to tell what time it is, and a sense of timelessness begins to creep in. You all finally come to a halt, the exhaustion clear on everyone's faces. The air is cool and damp, filled with the earthy scent of the forest. Despite the darkness, the forest feels alive and watching. Would you like to rest, or do you want to continue through the night?
Yeah, we've covered enough ground for today. There's no point overexerting ourselves.
Agreed. Tiny tower time?
Yep, tiny tower time.
All right. So, Tronald, you summon your tiny tower once more, and you all gather inside. The structure materializes, providing shelter and comfort as you settle in for the night. As you lay down to rest, a strange yet soothing melody begins to weave through the trees. It's as if the forest itself is singing, the notes whistling gently on the breeze. The sound is more soothing than disruptive, a lullaby from the ancient woods. Saxi, the nature of the song touches something deep within you. Memories of your childhood begin to surface, distant and almost alien, as if they belong to another lifetime. You recall lullabies your mother used to sing, melodies you have no right remembering. They tug at your heart, making it difficult to fall asleep. But after a while, the soothing rhythm of the forest song eventually lulls you into slumber. It's then your eyes jolt open, Saxi. There was no sound, nothing to disrupt your sleep, but it was disturbed nonetheless. The forest song has all but faded, replaced by the soft chorus of night creatures and the gentle rustling of leaves in the wind. The tiny tower feels safe, yet something about the silence outside has caught your attention. What would you like to do?
How's everyone else looking? Are they asleep?
Yeah, everyone else is still fast asleep aside from you.
Okay. I want to nudge Tronald to try get him to wake up. Something strange is definitely happening, and I'm not sure going to check on it alone is the best idea.
Saxi, you decide it's best not to investigate alone. You quietly move to where Tronald is sleeping and give him a gentle nudge. He doesn't stir, remaining in a deep sleep. You nudge him a bit harder, but still he doesn't wake. Finally, you give him a forceful shake, trying to rouse him. Yet, Tronald remains fast asleep, a serene smile on his face. He mumbles softly, "That's it. You're really getting the hang of the basics now. You'll be a master in no time." You pause, puzzled by his words in the depth of his sleep. Despite your best efforts, Tronald doesn't wake up. His breathing remains slow and steady, and he continues to smile, lost in some pleasant dream. It's clear that something strange is happening, and the eerie calmness of the forest only adds to the unsettling feeling.
All right. Well, can I see if anyone else will wake up?
Saxi, you move quietly through the tiny tower, stopping by each of your companions. You nudge Celestia gently, then a bit harder, but she remains still, her breathing even and peaceful. You try the same with Rar and Might, but they too are deeply asleep, each with a contented expression. Their faces are serene, undisturbed by your attempts to wake them. Soft murmurs of dreams escape their lips, but no amount of shaking rouses them. The tower is filled with the gentle sound of their slumber, leaving you standing alone in the quiet night.
Right. Well, I'm just going to pop my head outside. Joe, can I hear anything odd or see anything that looks strange?
Saxi, you cautiously open the door to the tiny tower and poke your head outside. The night is calm, the moon casting a silvery glow over the forest. The sounds of nocturnal creatures fill the air, a symphony of chirping insects and distant hoots of owls. The gentle rustling of leaves in the wind is the only movement you can see. Everything appears normal, undisturbed. Give me a perception check.
That's a 14, Joe.
You listen intently, but there's nothing out of the ordinary. The peaceful forest seems almost too quiet, but there are no signs of danger or anything unusual.
All right, well, I'm going to move all the way out and continue my look around.
Determined to ensure everything is safe, you step fully outside the tower. The cool night air brushes against your skin, and you take a cautious step forward. The forest around you remains tranquil, the canopy above blocking most of the starlight, making the ground a patchwork of shadows. Give me a nature check, Saxi.
That's a 18, Joe.
Saxi, as you wander through the surreal landscape of the forest, the experience becomes almost dreamlike. The ground beneath your feet feels soft and springy, a rich tapestry of moss and fallen leaves. Each step you take releases a subtle, earthy aroma, a mix of damp wood and fresh soil that invigorates your senses. The air around you is thick with the sweet scent of blooming flowers, their delicate pollen drifting lazily in the breeze, creating a silver haze that glows softly in the moonlight. You crouch down and grab a fistful of dirt. As your fingers close around the cool, moist earth, you feel a slight resistance, almost as if the ground itself is alive. When you lift your hand, a gentle puff of spores escapes from the soil, swirling around you in a delicate dance. The spores carry a heady, intoxicating scent, reminiscent of wild mushrooms and freshly turned earth. You can even taste the faint, bittersweet tang of the spores on your tongue like a hint of truffle. The forest around you seems to pulse with a subtle energy, the trees whispering secrets in a language older than time. The air is alive with the hum of unseen insects, their tiny wings beating in harmony with the rhythmic rustle of leaves. Everything feels connected, part of a greater whole, as if the forest itself is a single living entity watching over you. Just as you become fully immersed in this otherworldly ambiance, you feel a sudden sharp shift in the atmosphere. You turn around, your heart skipping a beat, and to your shock, a woman stands before you. Her presence is as startling as it is silent. She is poised, her bow drawn, and an arrow pointed not 3 inches from your face. Her eyes, sharp and unyielding, lock onto yours with an intensity that freezes you in place.
Oh, fuck. Joe, in Elvish I say, don't shoot.
The woman tilts her head slightly, her expression shifting from stern to puzzled. Her pixie-like face with sharp, delicate features and striking green eyes reflects her surprise. Short black hair frames her face, giving her an air of both elegance and fierceness. She lowers the bow ever so slightly, still keeping it ready, and speaks.
Etel hithui armal len human contraptitantel. Manir unithil. Lina il pureblod, yetel taun garuma sintle. Astal dervanwa. Quetin periain, mantetho lesi.
In common, that means
an elf, clad in so many human contraptions. How peculiar. You are not a pureblood, yet the forest has not rejected you. Interesting indeed. Tell me, half-blood, what brings you here?
Me and my friends are just passing through, seeking the shelter and solitude of the forest to avoid prying eyes. We respect the sanctity of these woods and mean no harm to you or your forest. Our journey is urgent, and we seek only to move swiftly and quietly, without disturbing the balance of nature here. We all understand the importance of this land to your people and promise to tread lightly, honoring the spirits of the forest as we go. Please grant us safe passage, and we will ensure that no harm comes to your home.
How can you promise such a thing? Harm has been closing in around our home ever since you humans raised your grand cities. It is never enough for your kind to enjoy what you have. You always crave more. The greed, the unending desire for expansion. It's a blight upon these lands.
She takes a step closer, her green eyes blazing with intensity.
You speak of respect and peace, yet your very presence here reeks of the encroachment that has plagued our forests for centuries. How am I to believe that you and your companions are any different? Your kind's insatiable hunger for more is a constant threat to the balance we strive to maintain.
Joe, I take a deep breath before responding. What is your name?
She seems to consider the question for a few long moments before eventually responding.
My name is Ferry.
All right. Ferry, I understand your pain and your mistrust. The world as we know it is changing, and not for the better. Darkness spreads across the lands, and the balance of nature is being thrown into chaos. Soon, this mortal plane will become the battleground for the gods themselves. The forces at play are beyond anything we have ever faced, threatening to consume everything we hold dear. I step forward, getting closer to her. I have no ill intention towards you or your land. My friends and I seek to protect this world and every living creature within it. We fight not for conquest or greed, but but for survival and the preservation of all that is good and pure. The forest, your home, is part of that purity. It is a sanctuary that must be defended against the coming storm. Leaving us in peace is a step towards the protection of this world. Whilst halting or killing us might just be the end of it. Our mission is crucial, and the balance of this world hangs on a thread. We don't ask for aid, only for the chance to continue our journey unimpeded. If we fail, the darkness will spread unchecked, consuming everything, including your beloved forest. Please, believe in our intentions. Allow us to pass through in peace.
Give me a persuasion check, Saxi.
That's a 15, but I'm going to use my flash of genius to make it a 19.
Ferry lowers her bow ever more, though still wary. She takes a deep breath, her expression softening.
I have seen too many of my kin suffer from the encroachment of humans. We have lost sacred groves, ancient trees, and countless lives. The forest is not just our home, it is a part of us, and we are a part of it. Yet I am not blind to the good in individuals. There are some who understand the importance of balance, who seek harmony rather than destruction. You speak our language and you approach with respect. That gives me hope. If you and your friends truly mean no harm, then go in peace and with our blessing. But know this, we will be watching.
Ferry delivers a short, melodic whistle that echoes through the forest. Suddenly, around 40 elves, previously hidden behind bushes and perched in trees, emerge silently from their concealment. They move with grace and precision, their eyes stern but accepting as they regard you. One by one, they slip away into the depths of the forest, their presence almost ghostly in the moonlight. Ferry lingers a moment longer, giving you a final assessing look before turning to follow her kin. As she does, a magnificent creature steps forward from the shadows to meet her. It's a hippogriff, yet it is much larger than a typical one, standing nearly twice as tall. The creature's body is an amalgamation of roots and vines, intertwining with its feathers and fur, giving it an almost otherworldly appearance. Its eyes pulse with a vivid green light, exuding an ancient natural wisdom and a fierce protectiveness. The wings of the hippogriff are immense, each feather tipped with delicate leaf-like structures that shimmer with a subtle iridescence. The very elements seem to surround it. A gentle breeze ruffles its feathers, while small motes of light like fireflies dance around its form. The ground beneath its hooves is lush with fresh grass and blooming flowers, as if the earth itself is responding to its presence. Ferry mounts the hippogriff with practiced ease, her form melding seamlessly with the creature as they prepare to take flight. The powerful wings unfurl, creating a rush of wind that stirs the leaves around you. With a final, penetrating glance back at you, Ferry spurs the hippogriff, and together they ascend gracefully into the night sky, disappearing into the canopy of the ancient forest.
Holy crap. Here I was thinking that if it came to it, I might be able to fend her off by myself. That was pretty stupid. I should have known better. Right, Joe? I'm going to head back to the tiny tower. I'm guessing that the spores being released from the dirt are what's triggering everyone's deep sleep. It's highly likely that the soil has some kind of reaction to the night, releasing the spores. So, hopefully, if that's the case, they will wake naturally come morning.
Interesting theory. What makes you think that?
Well, Joe, a few things. First, those spores from the dirt had an intoxicating scent and taste, likely magical. Given how deeply everyone else is asleep, it makes sense they'd have a sedative effect. Secondly, I'm the only one with elven blood here, and elves can't be put to sleep by magical means. That's why I'm still awake while everyone else isn't. The forest seems to react to intruders, and the soil might be releasing these spores as a natural defense, especially at night.
That's awesome, man. Right. Saxi, you turn and make your way back to the tiny tower. Inside, everyone else is still fast asleep, their breathing slow and steady. Tronald has a peaceful smile on his face, still mumbling softly in his dreams. Rar, Might, and Celestia all lie undisturbed, looking as if they've found rare solace in their rest. You quietly find your place, laying down and letting the day's events wash over you. Despite the unease, the comforting atmosphere of the tiny tower soon lulls you into a restful sleep, joining your companions in the deep, tranquil slumber. All right, guys, so morning has arrived, and you all feel like you've had some of the best rest you have ever had.
I feel like I had some crazy dreams.
Yeah, it sounded like it too, man. Can you remember what they were about?
Huh? You were watching me while I slept? That's kind of cute, not gonna lie.
What the hell, man? No, I wasn't. I just couldn't sleep, then overheard you mumbling about a bunch of stuff.
It was one of those dreams that feels so real, like you're actually living it. Every detail is vivid, every sensation so clear, but then you wake up, and it's like sand slipping through your fingers. You know it was intense, but you can't grasp any specifics. I remember feeling like I was learning something important, like I was mastering a skill or solving a puzzle. It felt significant, like it mattered. But now, nothing. Just the feeling that it was important.
Ooh, I have dreams like that sometimes. They're mostly about chicken.
But if you can remember they were about chicken, it's kind of nothing like the dreams Tronald was talking about.
Chicken.
At some point, we really need to take you to someone to get your memories fixed. Maybe there's a dreamer out there somewhere who can go into your dreams and see what's actually going on.
That's not a bad idea, actually, but that will just have to wait for now. Oh, by the way, guys, full disclosure. Last night, I woke up and couldn't get back to sleep. When I went outside, I encountered a wood elf named Ferry. She had a whole group of elves hidden around us, and she was pretty intense, bow drawn and everything. Turns out they were watching us to make sure we weren't a threat. The forest spores we've been encountering are likely what's keeping everyone in such a deep sleep. Ferry seemed to respect our intentions after we talked, and she and her group left us in peace. Just thought you all should know.
Oh, bless him. He thinks his dreams are real. No, Saxi. You didn't encounter any elven maidens. It was just your mind telling you what you desire.
No, it wasn't a dream. Anyway, the point I wanted to make was we should be mindful as we continue through this territory. These elves are protective of their land, but they might be allies if we show respect.
So you're saying casting a fireball right now into the forest would be a bad idea?
I'll let you work that one out for yourself.
Okay, cool. Joe, I cast fireball.
No, what the hell are you doing, dude?
Geez, I was only joking. Anyway, let's get a move on. We have a lot of ground to cover, and we aren't going to cover it stood here talking about dreams and forest fairy elves.
So are you guys continuing your trek towards Waterdeep through the forest?
Yep. Now that we have approval from Saxi's dream elves, we shouldn't have an issue staying in the forest.
All right, guys, you continue your march towards Waterdeep. The atmosphere is peaceful as you walk, with the sounds of nature in all its splendorous company. Can someone give me a perception check?
You, that's only a 13.
I'm going to use a flash of genius to make that a 17.
Okay. After about 4 hours into your journey, the tranquil scene is subtly disrupted. You feel a faint, almost imperceptible tremor beneath your feet. At first, it's easy to dismiss as a figment of your imagination, but then you notice the small puddles of dew on the forest floor beginning to ripple. The surface tension breaks and reforms in tiny, rhythmic waves. The ground beneath you trembles again, slightly more pronounced this time. You exchange glances with your companions, all senses heightened. The trees around you, once still and serene, now sway ever so slightly, their leaves rustling in response to the subtle vibrations. A faint murmur of uncertainty spreads among the birds, their song turning into an uneasy chatter. You take a cautious step forward, feeling the earth beneath your boots shift. The tremor intensifies and the air becomes charged with an electric tension. The gentle rustling of the leaves grows louder, almost like whispers spreading through the forest, carrying warnings on the wind.
I hold my hand up, signaling for everyone to stop moving and be quiet.
All right then. Tronald, you stop, raising a hand for silence. The group halts, listening intently. The ground shudders once more, and this time it's undeniable. The ripples in the puddles are more pronounced, the water dancing in response to the disturbance. A low, almost inaudible rumble begins to build, growing steadily louder with each passing second. The trees around you seem to lean in, their branches creaking and groaning as if straining to hear the source of the disturbance. The very air seems to hold its breath, waiting for something to happen. In the distance, you hear a faint but distinct sound, a rhythmic pounding noise that echoes through the trees. It's getting closer, the vibrations growing stronger with each thud. The ground beneath you quakes in response, the ripples in the puddles now frantic. The forest is alive with movement, the trees swaying and rustling as if preparing for an impending storm.
Where the hell is that noise coming from?
It seems to be emanating from just outside of the forest.
All right then, let's go and have a look. I want to do this stealthily though. God knows what's out there.
Okay, anyone who's going to have a look, make a stealth check for me.
Oh god, that's a 9 for me.
A 19 for me.
A 15 here.
Yeah, boy. A natural 20 for me.
And a 14 for me, Joe.
All right, nice. Averaged out, that's pretty decent. You all move cautiously through the forest, each step carefully placed to avoid making noise. Thanks to your keen senses and practiced stealth, you navigate the underbrush silently, the dense foliage providing ample cover. The forest, with its towering trees and thick undergrowth, becomes your ally as you make your way towards the edge of the tree line. Peering through the dense foliage, you catch glimpses of figures moving just outside the tree line. Rows upon rows of armored soldiers march in unison across the open fields, their heavy boots striking the ground in perfect rhythm. The pounding grows louder, the force of their march shaking the earth beneath your feet. Banners flutter in the breeze, and the glint of sunlight off their weapons sends sharp flashes through the shadows. The sheer magnitude of the army is overwhelming. Thousands of soldiers move with discipline, their armor clinking softly, creating a metallic symphony that blends with the natural sounds of the forest.
Holy fuck. Joe, can I tell what banners are being shown?
Give me an intelligence check.
That's a 19.
Saxi, as you peer through the foliage, you can easily tell that those are Waterdeep banners. Most likely the call for aid requested by White Willow. Just as the weight of this revelation sinks in, the air around you changes. The rhythmic pounding of boots and the clinking of armor are suddenly overshadowed by a deep, resonant rumble. It's a sound that reverberates through your very bones, a primal noise that commands attention and respect. The birds in the trees go silent, and even the wind seems to pause. You look up, squinting against the bright sky. The clouds above begin to part, revealing a dark, swirling mass. At first, it seems like a storm is brewing, but then the shape becomes clearer. It's immense, a shadow that almost encompasses the entire army beneath it. From the swirling clouds, it emerges, a dragon. Its scales shimmer with a light blue and silver hue, catching the sunlight and reflecting it in a dazzling display. The dragon's wings are vast, each beat sending gusts of wind that rustle the trees and disturb the leaves around you. Its body is sleek and powerful, muscles rippling beneath its armored hide. The dragon's eyes gleam with intelligence and authority as it surveys the army below. Its presence alone is enough to command the respect of the soldiers who march with renewed vigor under its watchful gaze. The dragon lets out a roar, a sound so powerful that it shakes the very ground you stand on. It's a sound of dominance, of power, and it leaves no doubt about who controls the skies above this vast army.
Mamma mia!
What the hell? Joe, does it have a rider, or is it solo?
From what you can tell, it does seem to have a rider, although you're unable to get a clear visual of the individual.
Well, can I try to have a better look? Or maybe Saxi can use his scope?
You can do that next time, because that is the end of this session. See you later, guys.